The 605 Hogs, the offensive line. It's a long-standing tradition to go to a restaurant downtown here in Brookings, and they've been doing this for 3 decades.
Go there every Tuesday after practice. Everyone's hanging out, everyone's laughing, everyone's telling stories, joking around. So I think it just builds a little more relationships and camaraderie.
The Jackrabbits of South Dakota State are more than a team. They are a family. And this year, more than ever before, the Jackrabbits family was confronted with adversity and tragedy, shaking one of the most successful programs in college football to its core.
There was certainly a lot of uncertainty within the program.
I feel like we all kind of felt lost.
Well, what are we going to do? What's going to happen?
Please welcome our new head football coach, Dan Jackson.
The most challenging moments you could ever picture, I saw a team rise up. And I knew that regardless of what we encountered the rest of the season, it wasn't going to stack up to that.
In 2022, 14 years after officially making the jump from Division II to Division I, South Dakota State won its first national championship under longtime coach John Stiegelmeier.
Let the celebration begin. Ring the bell, Jackrabbit Nation. Your football team is the FCS National Champions.
The following year, Jimmy Rogers, an SDSU alumnus, led the Jackrabbits to a second consecutive title.
South Dakota State has won back-to-back national titles.
Man, that was awesome. That was 2 of the best times of my life, especially that first one. Just an insane accomplishment.
In 2024, the Jackrabbits pursued a three-peat, but they were knocked out of the FCS tournament in the semifinals by their arch rivals, the Bison of North Dakota State. 7 days later, Rogers announced he was leaving for Washington State.
There were some people that were angry, A, that Jimmy was leaving, B, that he was making an effort to bring a lot of his players with him, his recruits with him. He brought his whole staff with him.
It was hectic because I really didn't know what to do. I was only here for about 8 months before, and so that's all I kind of knew was how Coach Rogers ran things around here and that staff. So I kind of thought like my only option was to leave.
It all came so fast, and we couldn't talk to the coaches that really left at the time, and we didn't know who our new coaches were, so it was just a weird feeling, a weird time.
Along with Rogers and his assistants, 16 players made the move to Pullman. Amid the upheaval, it seemed all that had been built here at South Dakota State might collapse.
It's very taxing mentally, just not knowing and really not being able to control much. That was very difficult to process.
On New Year's Eve, 3 days after Rogers' departure, South Dakota State hired his replacement, another member of the Jackrabbits fraternity, Dan Jackson.
Don't lose sight of the fact that the journey is the reward.
What does this place mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, not only was my dream to be a head football coach, my dream is to be the head football coach at South Dakota State, so it's rewarding to be here.
He's not just here to win football games. That's important, no question. He's here to develop student athletes, but he's invested in the community, he's invested in the university, and around here people feel that, like that matters.
Right there, let's go.
He played here. He was an assistant coach here for 8 seasons. But he also coached in the SEC as an assistant at Vanderbilt. And he was the defensive coordinator at Idaho. Then he came home again.
Dan Jackson's hired. Okay, that's great. He's got to put together a staff. And he's got to go to every one of the players and convince them to stay.
I knew that we were coming into some chaos, but you just get to work. I literally took that sheet of paper and I just started calling them one by one. Phone calls till midnight and getting up at 6 in the morning and just going again and taking notes and who's in, who's out, while also trying to assemble a staff.
In the days following his return to Brookings, Jackson built a new coaching staff, leaning on the Jackrabbits brotherhood.
Sit back, good. Bring your hips, wide moving.
Hiring the staff was critical for me to have the right amount of Jackrabbits that knew and loved South Dakota State.
You talk about having 3 coordinators, your offensive, your defensive, and your special teams coordinator who have gone other places, and they wanted to come back.
Jackson had stabilized the program, but then on June 25th, all of the Jackrabbits football challenges suddenly seemed insignificant.
Some sad news out of Brookings tonight. South Dakota State University Athletics says running back Nate White has passed away. He was 20 years old.
A transfer from Wisconsin, looking forward to his first season in Brookings, Nate White had died in his sleep from natural causes. A medical event had disrupted his breathing and heart functions.
The initial thing is calling his mom, which was the biggest challenge, and I wanted to be the one to do that.
You told her.
Yeah. She, try to not relive those moments a ton, but calling Crystal was tough. But I didn't want her to hear that from anybody other than the head football coach.
I remember just going in the stairwell in that building, just crying for a long time. It was like the whole football change happened, and then that happens. At a certain part, you kind of just feel like hopeless in a way.
It was just devastating for all of us to kind of just hear that. But the biggest thing was coming together that night, putting a memorial together for his family, and just coming together as a team.
This season, the Jackrabbits have committed themselves to honoring Nate White by playing every down as brothers. And that's exactly what they did in week 2 at third-ranked Montana State.
When you got 2 versus 3, this thing is as big as it gets.
It was a crazy environment, one of the best in FCS, and we were put to the test. We were down, and then we were up, and then back down, and going to overtime. That was kind of where you see, we stuck together.
Wow, this is going to be so close.
And he is short.
Short of the first down. Wow.
South Dakota State once again knocks off Montana State.
Our guys have been through so much that, any sort of adversity that hits in the game isn't going to faze them. We're just going to keep rolling.
That was a big win for Dan. That was a big win for everyone in this program to say, okay, we can be the same kind of team under Dan Jackson that we were under Jimmy Rogers and John Stiegelmeier.
To start the season, South Dakota State reeled off 7 consecutive wins. But then quarterback Chase Mason suffered a foot injury, and the Jackrabbits lost 4 in a row. In the season finale, with their postseason hopes in the balance and trailing in overtime, the team that endured so much change this year and so much heartbreak found a way.
Jack Henry will sling one to the end zone. Touchdown, Jackrabbits! An incredible comeback for South Dakota State to get to 8 wins and punch their ticket to the FCS postseason.
I want a team that feels that they've accomplished the goal of reaching their highest potential, that handled any adversity that was thrown their way.
Play for each other. Let's go.
This team will be talked about for the rest of South Dakota State history.
It's a party, it's a party.